Welcome back to Final Fantasy XVI, where we're here doing another side quest for Blackthorn, because he gets his feelings hurt easily.
But if we can't find
But hey.
forges, how are we going to earn our keep?
Shut your hole. The chief will think of something.
But hey, doing these quests for Blackthorn are very good to do, because it helps the hideout as a whole, and creates better weapons for Clive and the Curse Breakers.
Our master always liked to keep an eye on the village. That's why he built his forge up on the hill. Our master always liked to keep an eye on the village.
Wonder why Blackthorn and Zoltan fell out. Hammer envy?
Blackthorn's got some nerve coming back here.
Mama, why hasn't Papa come back yet?
He's helping the chief with something very important. You go back inside now.
That's my obituary written then. The man who closed the doors on his great-grandfather's forge.
Oh, don't say that. It's not over yet. Let me help.
Isn't there anything we can do to help? It doesn't seem fair, the menfolk having to deal with all this on their own.
I've started putting peas and pulses in the pot. They fill the same hole for a fraction of the price of meat.
I have some things for sale. Go safely now.
But if we can't find the forges, how are we going to earn our keep?
Shut your hole. The chief will think of something.
Sorry, but if none of you lot can smell ore anymore, we're gonna have to start looking for new clients.
Ha! Good luck finding anyone else who can make a fire worth a damn.
What's the point of mining this shit if no one can use it?
If they don't fix the forges soon, we'll be out of a job.
Miners only. Can't have you tripping headfirst into a pile and bringing the whole place down.
The sky sucked up all the ether or something. Would explain why nothing bloody works down here anymore.
Watch it, stranger. There's a fort up ahead. Take a look if you want, but slip and you won't be coming back.
Isn't there anything we can do to help? It doesn't seem fair, the menfolk having to deal with all this on their own.
I've started putting peas and pulses in the pot. They fill the same hole for a fraction of the price of meat.
That's my obituary written then. The man who closed the doors on his great-grandfather's forge.
Oh, don't say that. It's not over yet. Let me help.
Should be enough to last us a few moons, at least. Mama, why hasn't Papa come back yet?
He's helping the chief with something very important. You go back inside now.
Hotter! Hotter, damn it! Those miserable flames wouldn't melt butter, let alone iron.
Pardon the intrusion. I'm looking for the chief.
That'd be me.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'll bet it is. Keep the gates closed, I tell him. Well done, Snotty. You're not welcome here. Get out. Before things turn nasty.
Blackthorn's here.
What did you say?
He's traveled a long way to see you.
Yes, has he?
He's waiting. Down by the gates.
Then I suggest you take him with you when you leave.
Didn't you apprentice together?
So what if we did? Fuck! We're getting nowhere! These bearers' flames are next to bloody useless!
We're never going to be able to fire up the forges unless we can find some new crystals.
I'm a busy man, as you can see, so do me a favor and piss off. Oh, and if you're struggling to find your way out, ask Blackthorn. That prick knows exactly where the exit is. He's not wanted here. And neither are you.
All right. I'm going.
Please, Chief, you've got to do something. If this keeps up, we'll be ruined.
It's no use. The flames just aren't hot enough.
I suppose we could try working copper instead, if we had the ore.
I thought I'd made myself clear. Piss off.
Bollocks. So bearer's magic's no more use than the crystals.
We could try making a bunch of them do it at once.
Mama, why hasn't Papa come back yet?
He's helping the chief with something very important. Go back inside now.
If we can't fire the forges, how are we going to earn our keep?
Shut your hole. The chief will think of something.
Let me guess. Zoltan told you to piss off.
As a personal favor to him, yes.
Well, at least he didn't beat about the bush.
There'll be no talking him round. Not after what I did.
Which is what exactly? If we're to help, we need to know. What turned the village against you?
I left. Dravozd. Zoltan. The burden of leadership our dying master dropped in our laps. All of it. There are two kinds of smiths in this world, you see. My kind, who are in it for the love of the craft, who labour on a single piece from dawn to dusk to get it just right. And the other kind, who are in it for different reasons. People like Zoltan, whose work is quick and cheap. The kind of smiths who shit out a few hundred blades, reap the profit and divvy it out among themselves. There wasn't a single day we weren't at each other's throats. And bit by bit, people started taking sides. You would have torn Dravozd in half had it gone on. So, I left.
You didn't have to do that.
Zoltan's a better chief than I would have been. His way of doing things kept food on people's tables. Dravozd prospered without me and my lofty ideals getting in the road. Until the crystals run out at any rate. Without magic to fire the furnaces, this place is as good as dead.
It depends on how you look at it, though. There's got to be other ways of making fire. We manage it in the Deadlands.
Thanks to Sid's ingenuity, yeah. He saw all of this coming. Knew crystals were the problem, not the solution. And spent years coming up with ways of doing without.
You know what I mean, though, right? Where there's a will, there's a way. What I'm trying to say is that it's not your fault. You couldn't have predicted this.
It doesn't matter whose fault it is. I don't want to be the greatest smith alive just because I happen to be the last. Clive. Dravozd won't last long without his furnaces. So, do you think it's time we shared Sid's bellows with the world? The way I see it, it's your decision to make.
Hold on, Blackthorn. Sid made those things for us. They give us an edge over the rest. And you'd be throwing it away.
All right. Do it. This place was your home. I won't abandon it to its fate. Sid's creations were never meant to be hoarded. It was only ever a matter of time before we shared them. Let this be another step on the road to freeing Valisthea from the prison of the Crystal's blessing. Dravozd will show the world that it's possible. Wouldn't you agree, August?
When you put it that way, of course. It's like hearing Sid speak from beyond the grave.
Thank you, Clive.
Shall I go and fetch the plans, then?
I know I'm off by heart. I'll be needing some help, though. Building a furnace isn't exactly a one-man job. Do us a favour and round up anyone strong enough to lug a brick or two, would you, August?
All right, then.
And I've got a job for you too, Clive. Finding me some salamander skin. I need leather for the bellows and nothing else will withstand the heat. Luckily for us, salamanders feed out in the fields of Carava.
Time for a spot of hunting, then.
Sid tried all sorts of leather to make those bellows, but salamander skin was the only kind that worked. Luckily for all our sakes, salamanders aren't too hard to find around these parts.
Don't worry, I'll get Blackthorn the help he needs. Once I've worked out who hates us the least.
But if we can't fire the forges, how are we going to earn our keep?
Blackthorn's got some nerve coming back here.
Let's make this quick, shall we?
What the? Oh my god.
Let's try. Slow. Give me thunder! Let's try. Slow. A fine hand. Let's try. Titan!
All in a day's work.
I dare say that would be enough for a decent set of bellows. Ready, go? No mistakes. Back to the stables, girl.
What's this all about then?
Don't know. Some kind of new invention.
Would you like to see my wares? I'll take it off your hands.
Fuck, what am I doing?
Here you are. Farewell, traveller.
What's going on? A town meeting? Why weren't we invited?
Isn't there anything we can do to help? It doesn't seem fair, the menfolk having to deal with all this on their own.
I've started putting peas and pulses in the pot.
Sorry,
They fill the same
but if
hole
none of you
for a
lot can
fraction
smell
of the
ore
price.
anymore, we're gonna have to start looking for new clients.
I thought I'd made myself clear. Piss off.
Good news, Clive. When I told people we'd be building them a new furnace, they were practically falling over themselves to help. Talk about changing their tune, eh?
Any trouble finding the skin?
Nothing I couldn't handle.
There should be plenty. Right then, time to put these louds to work. If everyone pulls their weight, we'll be finished in no time.
Well, I'll be damned. I honestly didn't think it'd work. But it's hot enough, all right. And without a single crystal in sight.
You know what this means, don't you?
I do, yeah. Dravost is saved.
Sorry about earlier. I take back everything I said. That thing you built us is an honest-to-God's marvel. You saved our village.
It's Blackthorn you should be thanking. He oversaw the construction.
Give this to him, would you?
What is it?
Pet Cole's cinders. After he left, I spent years trying to eke the most out of our forges. That there was my answer. Chuck it in the fire, and your forge will burn hotter for longer, which will do wonders for your steel. Our secret for yours. Only fair. I've always envied Blackthorn. Since the day I became chief, I spent every spare moment trying to match up to the bastard. No amount of sleepless nights at the anvil will ever bridge that gap, though. He's a genius. Plain and simple. The man Dravost needed. But he took all his talent and left. Gifted and free. Is it any wonder I hate his guts?
The cinders would mean more coming from you.
I need to forgive him first. And that's not gonna happen.
Well, you know what they say. Oriflamme weren't built in a day and all that. These things take time. Especially when they involve two geezers who hold grudges tighter than their hammers. But what matters is, Blackthorn's got that twinkle back in his eye. And I'd call that a job well done.
So would I.
I reckon he's going to be at it a while yet, though, so why don't you head off without us? I'll see that the old git gets home safe and sound.
See that you both do. I'll save the cinders till then.
All right. It'll be a nice little surprise for him. He's still explaining the ins and outs of the new forge, so I doubt we'll be going anywhere for a bit. No sense you waiting around anyway.
These things are going to take some getting used to.
Yeah. Give it a week, and you'll wonder why you ever bother with crystals. Let's run through it again, shall we?
That's not Blackthorn, is it? Never thought I'd see his face in Dravost again.
I want a set of these bellows for our forge.
Well, I'm sure they'll make us some if you ask.
Don't go thinking those cinders mean I've forgiven Blackthorn. Because I haven't, and I won't. But knowing how much they improve my work, I can only imagine what they'll do for him.
Bloody hell. How's it staying so hot without a crystal?
Don't ask me, but whoever invented this thing was a fucking genius.
I'll bet the blacksmiths will be queuing up to buy you a drink now. Reckon you might save this town and everyone in it.
Life has been breathed back into the smithies of Dravost. Now that is worth celebrating.
All right. Just don't celebrate too hard, eh?
The forges are back in action, and burning like the flames of hell itself, thanks to these new bellow things.
Right then, you lazy mongrels. Back to the mine. We've got forges to feed.
Miners only. Can't have you tripping headfirst into a pile and bringing the whole place down.
Watch it, stranger. There's a fault up ahead. Take a look if you want, but slip and I won't be coming back.
If it's knowledge you seek, we've tomes aplenty to guide you in your search.
Those tomes wouldn't happen to have letters in them, would they?
Gentlemen, I see you both made it home in one piece.
Yeah, well, we didn't want to outstay our welcome. The whole village turned out for a go on the bellows after you left. Everyone except Zoltan has. Didn't see hide nor hair of him.
Oh, but that reminds me. I have something for you.
Pick old Cinder. How'd you come by this? And you're sure he wanted me to have it?
I'm sure. He didn't say so, but I think he wants to forgive you.
Huh. Imagine that. Yeah. You know I could never leave this place, don't you? Every time you put on mail, you and the curse breakers are trusting me with your lives. There's no greater honor for a smith than that. I'm not about to go crawling back to Zoltan for forgiveness, but I will make good use of his cinder. And if that helps save even a single life, then he'll have my gratitude. What was it you said he called me? Huh? A genius? And he spent sleepless night trying to copy me, did he? Sounds like I better get to work. I've got a reputation to uphold.
It's good to see you back on form, Blackthorn.
I don't know how you pair put up with me sometimes, but I'm grateful all the same. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, about to put Zoltan back in his place.
Ain't got the art to tell him how similar they are. Stubborn bastards.
A little healthy competition should be good for him.
You're not wrong. Still, it's a shame him and Zoltan couldn't let bygones be bygones. No use grumbling about it now, though. Blackthorn's happy. Or as near to happy as he gets. And that's good enough for me.
Find you a friend like this dude. Ouroboros.
Trouble with your gear, or... So, what'll it be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that should do you. That it? Fine.
Is there all you need? You take care now.
He's a surly
The realm's crops are all being harvested early for fear they won't grow under these skies. Nothing's being left to go to seed.
Well, then we'll need to make certain that our seeds last.
Sid, do you recall the flowers I had you bring back to the yard?
Vaguely. Is something wrong?
I'm afraid so. I was able to get most of the Morganbeards to take root, but they rarely flower. I fear the soil here does not agree with them. However, I believe I have a solution.
I can't wait to hear it.
I'm going to marry the Morganbeards with Morbols. I know, but hear me out. Morbols are possessed of a highly choleric temperament. The fire which drives them appears to be maintained by an abundance of nutrient-rich ether drawn from their environs. I believe that by grafting a Morbol vine to a Morganbeard, the appendage's wealth of vigor-inducing nutrients might well stimulate the flower to bloom. The endeavor, I assure you, is scientifically sound. I simply need a vine to prove the theory.
And all you need is is a single vine from an ordinary Morbol.
That is correct. A single vine. As for the Morbol, I fear ordinary may not suffice. But, as luck would have it, a most extraordinary specimen is rumored to haunt the swamps of Rosaria. Why, a notice concerning this very creature was only recently posted on the hunt board.
How timely.
Well, I shan't keep you any longer. I know you have much to do, as do I. Now, where did I put my watering can? Those who encountered this Morbol in Rosaria claim it was as large as a house. Think of all the ether it must have consumed to attain such a prodigious size. Its vines will be bursting with untold vigor.
Sid, heard you were in Canva fetching young Med.
Miss Shirley, how can we learn to be clever like Miss Midadol?
If Amber and the Lazarus are gone,
Then everyone in Port is over.
I fear your brother isn't a fan of carrots, Kupo. If every carrot of Rosaria is anything like the one that just got posted on the board, I can see why, Kupo. Please, sir, can I have some Morbol? I wonder what movie that's from. Carrot.
just any Morbol, could it? All right then. get this vine back to the yard.
The fight really didn't seem any different from the previous Morbol fights.
He's a surly soaker.
Sid, I can't help but notice that your satchel is twitching in a most violent manner.
Here. It's your problem now.
What an amazing specimen. The flesh positively throbs with vitality. If I can successfully graft this to the Morganbeards... When I successfully graft this to the Morganbeards, I suspect the results will be immediate. I shall begin at once. It is just as I hoped. Witness how the Morganbeards have taken to the blighted soil, how they bloom with heretofore unseen vigor. Why, I dare say such a vine graft would yield similar results when applied to other specimens as well.
I'm glad I could be of assistance.
You've not only helped us, Sid, you've saved us. Do you recall the extract with which I provided you before? I took a moment to distill some more, but this time with the petals from the invigorated Morganbeards. And would you believe? Its potency has nearly doubled. You must accept this vial as thanks for your assistance. The rest, I shall give to Taya.
I like how the quests are spread out in this game. More so than really any other Final Fantasy game that have had side quests. But overall, I still think 7 Remake had the best side quests in the Final Fantasy series. And really, I'm just counting games that have like a multitude of side quests. A game like Final Fantasy VII, the original Final Fantasy VII, does have side quests. It has the Yuffie side quest and Wuta, which is actually a couple of them. There's the actual Yuffie side quests and Wuta that some people hate, but I think it's kind of a fun, neat thing. But then there's also, once you do that, you can do the you can go through Godot's Padoga with Yuffie, and that's neat. It's just fighting bosses with one character, which it has to be Yuffie, so you know it's not really the most fun to fight bosses with just one character in Final Fantasy games, or at least the old ones, the turn-based ones. But I still think those side quests are neat. Everything, well, not everything, but there's some optional things to do that involve the Turks, like going to Zack's hometown, which is kind of hard to miss. But it is optional, and discovering the that sunken ship sunken airship in the ocean and going through that. Yeah, Vincent's a little thing you can find in Final Fantasy VII. The point is, like, Final Fantasy VII does have side quests or things you could consider as side quests, but there's the multitude of them is not on the same level as games like this and 7 Remake and Final Fantasy 15 and even Crisis Core with its all the missions you can do. Ten 2 has a bunch of side quests. It really has nothing but side quests and mini games and such. So anyway, honestly, if I did count Final Fantasy VII, original Final Fantasy VII, I'd probably say that has my favorite side quest. But you know how older games are. Older games really don't have quote-unquote side quests. Or at least they're typically not, they're not, designed the same as later games. Like, video games really have embraced side quests and, well, really, I'll say PlayStation 3 era and onwards. Well, that's good to have.
Allow me to thank you again, Master Cid. I do believe you have quite a knack for this sort of work. Should you ever grow tired of saving the realm, we would happily welcome your assistance here in the backyard on a permanent basis. I jest, of course.
A few more of these, and the Deadlands will seem less dead.
These flowers are beautiful. Pity we have to boil them all down to make medicine.
A trader from across the sea once told me that on the continent they play music for their crops. Would you like that, Martel?
Well, there's one more side quest we must do.
Sid! Heard you were in Canva fetching young Ned.
Really, when it comes to side quests, there's 2 games in particular
How can we learn to be
that I would say really hit out the park with them. And those 2 games are Grand Theft Auto 5 and Fallout 4. I'm sure there's a bunch of games I haven't played that really do a great job with side quests. But those are 2 games I have played, and side quests are awesome in those 2 games. And I'm sure Fallout 4 has way more than Grand Theft Auto 5. Alright, well, I'm going to end this one here. Until next time.